Mom, do you believe that it is important to pray? Why or why not?
I do think it's important to pray. I think prayer gives me at least a sense of peace. So I start my day every day with the Hail Mary, or anytime during the day, if I'm worried about something, I say Hail Mary.
What is your favorite form of prayer?
Lately, my favorite form of prayer is the Rosary. I've started saying it a lot this summer, and once again, for me, it just gives me time to slow down and connect with God and Mother Mary. And once again, the Hail Marys just give me a sense of peace.
What is your opinion on the concept of the Eucharist?
Concept of the Eucharist. I think it's important each week to partake in Mass for the Eucharist, because I feel that as you take the body and blood of Christ, I remember a priest once saying that, as you take the Eucharist and Jesus in you, then throughout that week you should go out and portray Jesus, be like Jesus through your actions.
In your opinion, which sacrament do you feel has impacted you the greatest? Explain how it has done so.
I feel like, for me, the sacrament of marriage has impacted me the greatest. I feel like once I got married to your dad, he brought me closer to the Catholic Church, and so I think marriage so far has been the greatest sacrament. Then after, I guess, we got married, I actually got confirmed after that, so.
Which one is it?
Marriage.
Okay.
Okay. Jesus calls us to lead moral lives. Do you feel like the sacraments help you in doing so?
I do. I feel every time you partake in the sacrament or witness the sacrament, it just reconnects you or reminds you of your connection with God. And once you feel more connected to God, you're more likely to want to do the right thing.
Jesus said, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." What are some of the ways that you act this out in your daily life?
Love my neighbor as myself. I do a lot of volunteer work, so I feel like I help others just by giving my time at schools, at the church.
Alright. Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
Here with my brother Matthew.
Pearland Baffle Super Bowl champions, #1.
So Matthew, do you believe that it is important to pray? Why or why not?
I believe it's important to pray because God can do miracles. Like, for instance, He could cure someone with cancer, or He could just give someone a better life.
What is your favorite form of prayer?
My favorite form of prayer is probably meditation. It's whenever I pray to God before I go to sleep, and I just talk to Him, and I help people get through their daily lives.
What is your opinion on the concept of the Eucharist?
My opinion about the Eucharist is I really don't think of it as eating His body and drinking His blood, but whenever I do, I just feel like better because I feel like I have Jesus in me.
In your opinion, which sacrament do you feel has impacted you the greatest? Explain how it has done so.
I think confession has put the greatest impact on me because I just feel like God is forgiving me for all my sins. It just makes you feel better.
Jesus calls us to lead moral lives. Do you feel like the sacraments help you in doing so?
Yes, I believe they do because it just makes you feel like you need to give to the needy or just help.
Jesus said, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." What are some of the ways that you act this out in your daily life?
One of the things is I did a mission trip to help the Indians on the ground. And another thing is that I sold bracelets that said "Fight for Air" for people with lung problems. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
My dad, do you believe that it is important to pray? Why or why not?
I think it's critical that people pray. I think that gets you closer to God, and it allows you to take time to kind of reflect about what's going on in your life and appropriately think about how God would give you guidance and get through hard times. So,
What is your favorite form of prayer?
usually it's been like personal meditation, but I would say in the last year, your mom, Stephanie, has introduced me to the rosary, and I actually found that I enjoy doing the rosary. It takes a little bit longer, but you kind of start with a period where you're thinking about why you're praying for that day, and then you basically say the series of prayers, and I actually find that to be pretty fulfilling.
What is your opinion on the concept of the Eucharist?
Well, it's one of the sacraments. I think it's critically important because it basically gives you a chance. You do it daily, obviously, but with our family, we typically do it more like once a week. It allows you to get very close with God and basically reflect on whether you are in a position where you should be receiving the Eucharist. So it makes you kind of reflect on your life and whether you're in a position to receive the Eucharist or not.
In your opinion, which sacrament do you feel has impacted you the greatest, and explain how it has done so?
I guess that's a tough one. I guess I'd say, there's two sacraments that I think are really important to me and have impacted me dramatically. I would say the first is marriage, and the reason I say that is that obviously you're a product of the marriage, right? And happily we're married with a great wife and 3 kids, and with the 3 kids and all the stuff that we do, it becomes central to your life. Almost every minute of the day is spent doing something related to the family, and that wouldn't happen without marriage. So it's dramatically changed my life from what it could have been had I not gotten married. Mm-hmm. And then I'd say the other sacrament that's awfully important is penance. And basically by going up to the retreat center with you and with your older brother, I've actually found those to be really moving moments. It's not the only time that I've gone to penance, or received the sacrament of penance. But most recently, those have been a couple of the most recent times, and I find those to be really a period where you get great relief, and a lot of the burden that's on your soul is taken away. So I find that to be a really important sacrament as well.
Jesus calls us to lead moral lives. Do you feel like the sacraments help you in doing so?
Absolutely. I think the Golden Rule, I think the 10 Commandments, I think the sacraments are all critical Christian values that allow us to lead moral lives.
Jesus said, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." What are some of the ways that you act this out in your daily life?
Well, I guess probably starts with just thinking about trying to be a good example for you guys, first of all, and I know that if I'm a good example to you, then you're going to be a good example to others. So ultimately, there's this kind of ripple effect of our sharing good values, and ultimately it flows out to the neighbors. So sometimes it's a direct thing for me to a neighbor, somebody I see on the street. One thing I really think is important in life is that when you see somebody on the street, whether they're somebody just pass and walking by, or somebody working in a store or whatever, and you get an opportunity to say thank you and smile and wish them a good day. I think that's a super important way to hold the door for somebody when they're walking by. I think those are all important ways to do little things for your neighbor and make everybody's life a little bit better.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.